Just look at this. A lot of these vandalized cars are still sitting in the long-term parking section of PTI Airport, even though airport officials tell me that the vandalism took place early Sunday morning. Why? Because a lot of these travelers are still vacationing and they have no idea what they're going to be walking up to until they see this, the crime scene tape, the broken glass, and this letter. And what we noticed along the way is it's really a mad dash for gas right now, but it's more like hurry up and wait at the pump. A forensic crew's truly just feet behind me right now. A very hectic scene, and it has been for hours. Just spoke with Chief Deputy Hinson of the Greensboro Police Department, and he tells me this is now officially a homicide investigation. It started out as a fire. Now the numbers are trickling in. I can actually see them in my peripheral vision. The middle of the day when the shooting happened, so they have a lot of witnesses to interview. They said the restaurant was very busy. Again, I want to remind you, this happened around 3:40. People are back to school shopping at the Haynes Mall, where BJ's Restaurant and Brew House is. Wow, oh my God, was that an earthquake? That's what I've been hearing ever since the KFC off of Van Buren Road in Eden exploded earlier this morning. The question on all of our minds, who is Dwayne Craddock and why did he do what he did? Sometimes to get answers in the present, you have to look to the past. I've been offered a hot shower, I've been offered a sandwich, I've been offered a hot meal, I've been offered water bottles, and I've been offered lots of hugs. That's just the kind of people that live here. That is New Bern. And so many people have said over and over again, we will rebuild. We will rebuild stronger than ever. And I think the governor's presence right now is encouraging people. Governor Cooper, Can we chat with you for 1 second?
Indeed, absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, sure.
Governor
Thanks.
Cooper, thank you for being here. I heard you talking to many of people. You're in their vehicle saying, how are you doing? What's the reaction? He was going up to each person, to each family saying, how are you doing? How are you holding up? Because you have to remember, people in New Bern didn't have power for so long, so many days. 80% of people in New Bern have power now, but that means 20% don't. But this is what you're going to be seeing all across Rockingham County tonight. Just huge downed trees in the middle of the road and also crushing houses. We don't know the condition of the person who was shot, but we do know that they were suffering from a gunshot wound. And Chad, I just spoke with the victim on the phone. She says it was a terrifying experience and her 4-year-old son was in the car when it happened. You usually don't see this many cars out on a weekday, on a Wednesday, but tomorrow is Thanksgiving, so many of you are rushing to see family and friends. So do yourself a favor, don't put a damper on the holiday by getting pulled over. Yes, neighbors in southeast Guilford County in a community off of Alamance Church Road are on high alert after what appears to be 3 men dressed in casual clothing trespassed on their property.
What do they have to tell you?
Great question, Julie. So think of it this way. Any structural damage like a faulty foundation, anything like that, they have to tell you. Anything that puts your health at risk like mold infestation or lead-based paint, that's a big one because that can put your child's health at risk. They have to tell you that. But what they don't have to tell you, as we discussed, is any sort of death, and that could be anything from a suicide to a violent crime. They don't even have to tell you if there's a sex offender in your neighborhood.
Bro, KFC just blew up.
That was Tamara Keene early Thursday morning on the site of the big KFC blast in Eden. Keene still says it hasn't quite sunk in.
We didn't know what was going on. It was scary.
Keene lives nearby.
All of a sudden, the whole apartment complex started shaking.
She also works at Cricket Wireless, right next to where KFC once stood. The blast blew out 3 windows at the store, but management fixed them just hours later.
They came and fixed them in no time.
Directly next to Cricket, Eden Drug says no fixes were necessary.
The back was okay, alarm wasn't going off. Very minimal damage, just a lot of cosmetic.
Maybe no problems, but video proof. The blast happened right behind them. The pharmacy's surveillance captured the explosion from every single angle. The big boom, the side sparks, the store shaking.
Oh my God.
And Donna White is proof you didn't have to be close by to feel the brunt of the blast. She lives a 7-minute drive from KFC. Her pictures fell straight off her wall.
Well, I felt it shake and I said, what is going on? What just happened?
Building inspectors were out here earlier today. Some of those neighboring businesses, one of the favorites, a pizza parlor across the street, had some damage to the roof and also the walls, but they said they are open and it's just going to take a bit of time to make the necessary repairs. And as for what caused all of this damage, it's still being investigated. These two thieves sneak a peek out the window, hoping no one will catch them. Little do they know, Marlon Jaggernaut's Nest surveillance is rolling inside his Greensboro home.
They definitely use something heavy like a sledgehammer to break a hole through the wall. Then the younger kid, looks like a kid, crawled through that hole and opened the door for the older kid.
Jaggernaut and his wife luckily weren't home when the two suspects broke in. It was a near miss.
According to the surveillance footage, we missed them by 10 minutes. Could have been bad for the both of us.
But it was still bad. Jaggernaut said the thieves made out like bandits, quite literally. He says they stole
the watch my mom gave me when I first graduated from college and my wife's wedding bands.
All things that are very sentimental.
I was angry, upset.
But his biggest worry, the two boys snatched his loaded AR-15 with about 100 rounds ready to go.
We got two kids, with a loaded AR-15 with 5 magazines in the bag that's loaded as well. That's not good. We need to get that off the streets.
He fears what a dangerous weapon could do in the wrong hands.
I don't want that to be on my conscience. I don't want to be sleeping at night thinking someone used my AR to do something horrible.
A table full of needles, knives, shanks. The North Carolina Department of Public Safety found all of this here in the shadows of security systems.
I've been here 35 years. 35 years, yep.
Nathaniel Jones Jr. of Greensboro says he was in Guilford County Jail for some time before serving 8 months at the Dan River Prison for drug charges. He says he hit some sleeping pills.
Couldn't sleep. My boxer briefs, paper towel, 6 Tylenol PM, put it right here in your briefs because there's a pouch right here. So sometimes they make you pull your pants down, squat, and cough, but they don't do like they're supposed to. That's how they get you in.
North Carolina prisons have yards for outdoor inmate activity, causing a new illegal trend to take flight.
The Department of Public Safety says throwovers are still the #1 way contraband gets behind bars, but eyes to the skies, drones have become a growing concern. It is illegal to fly a drone within a horizontal distance of 500 feet or a vertical distance of 200 feet from any correctional facility in North Carolina.
Drone drop-offs have landed drugs and shoes and smartphones in the hands of North Carolina prisoners.
You won't see drones being a problem with the jails because there's not a yard for them to go out.
But some inmates manage to find other ways. There's not much law enforcement can do when contraband is in unspeakable places.
We cannot check body cavities unless we have a search warrant. That's just straight and narrow. They've used balloons to put contraband in and they swallow them. Condoms, and swallowed it. And then, and they pass it at some other point. Sometimes they insert it into their body cavities.
Jones has a cousin who's been locked up for 18 years.
And he cries a lot out here.
Almost 2 decades of wired fences and confined spaces.
But he know the decision he was making, the life he was living, but he just didn't think it would go down like that.
It can lead some, not just the inmates, to go a little mad.
Unfortunately, we may actually have an employee for some reason that wants to try and help a prisoner out, and they've tried to sneak something in, but that doesn't happen, but gosh, once in a blue moon.
With nearly 600 cameras at the downtown Greensboro Detention Center, not much gets past correctional officers.
We try and search the person that we're arresting to be sure that we're not getting anything that would harm us or anybody else.
Colonel Randy Powers with the Guilford County Sheriff's Office says marijuana is the #1 drug they've seen snuck into their jails. But the #1 contraband, cigarettes.
We're very thorough in our searches.
Always on the lookout in lockup.